So you may have remembered a certain game that I've played over the years. All right. This game first released as a free to play open beta like 2, 3 years ago. It was called Multiversus. And the whole premise of the game was that it's going to be a Smash Brothers-esque online fighting game. Okay. Yes, there'll be party elements, but also it's supposed to be taken seriously as a competitive fighter with balance. And the idea was that it was going to be characters from all these different Warner Brothers properties. So when you think Warner Brothers, what do you think? The Looney Tunes. But you also think, oh, Warner Brothers owns DC, so all the DC Comics superheroes. Well, they threw in everything. Iron Giant, the Gremlins, right? All this kind of stuff was thrown in there. Scooby-Doo. And the idea makes sense. And the premise is interesting. And when this beta first came out and I tried it, I actually really liked it. Like, I significantly enjoyed this game. And I played it for a few months. And at first, it did work. At first, it was quite entertaining and fun. But then, you guys kind of got bored with it. And I was like, I'm not really bored with it. I'm trying new characters. I'm enjoying myself. But the audience got bored. And the thing is, I don't really feel like you guys are the kind of audience that would even like Smash Brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've tried Smash Brothers over the years, too. And after, a few sessions, you got bored with that, too. So I get it. Like, it's not for my audience, all right? But the game definitely had an audience. And there was an active community around this game that was engaged and excited. And the guy who's like the lead developer of the game was very, very interactive with the audience. And he would talk with the fans and players all the time about things that could be improved, significant things, that could be tweaked to make the game better. So this lasted, I want to say, about 6 to 8 months, where it stayed in open beta. Now, here's the thing. You could spend money on the game. You could actually buy like an early access kind of a deal. And if you did, you got added skins and content in the game. So a lot of people did spend money on it. And we're like, oh, that's interesting. You could do that, but the whole model was always supposed to be it's free to play. You don't have to buy it, but you're going to spend money over time through microtransactions. So for example, yes, you could technically unlock a character for free, but you're going to take so long to do so, you're likely going to want to spend some money to accelerate the process and get characters more quickly, all right? Personally, this is exactly what I experienced. Like, when I started playing Multiversus, I liked playing like 2 or 3 characters, but I wanted more. And then it took me maybe very quickly to unlock like 1 character. But then after that, all of a sudden, there was this big mountain that you had to climb to unlock your next character. And it was a grind of constantly playing and doing these passes, battle passes and things to earn the credits and the points to do the unlock. So after having done it for a little bit, I was like, this is a lot of a grind, and it's going to end up being me grinding a lot in this game to even unlock new content. I can get why this might get tired and people wouldn't like it in my streams. So the game continued on, even though I stopped playing it. The game continued on for I want to say it was like 6 to 8 months. Then all of a sudden, after 6 to 8 months of this game being in beta, there was a shocking announcement, okay? The game was going to shut down for like a year, completely gone from the internet, not playable, nothing, not even playable offline, just shutting down. But then they were going to come back later on with a full launch, meaning they actually were going to really launch the game at a full capacity. So people were thinking, oh, this is good news. This probably means there's going to be significant amounts of single player content, maybe a story-based campaign that'll be added to the game. Maybe they're going to add tons of new characters. They're going to tweak the online. They're going to do all these changes, right? So the game went away for a year. And then when it came back, okay, sadly, I hate to say it, it was worse. The game literally disappeared for 365 days, comes back. The characters all moved slower, so the game was a much more slow-paced game, which didn't make sense. You can't have a game in beta being a fast game, right? And then all of a sudden become slow. If you want to go slow and then speed up, that's one thing, but you can't go back. That's like taking a step back instead of a step forward, right? Certain characters were completely changed and nerfed. Like, I remember I tried playing Velma. Velma was super fun to use in the beta. She's one of the most worthless characters in the full release. Why would you do that? People are enjoying the character. Don't destroy them, right? And so what ended up happening was when the game had its full release, people were super excited, started playing it, and then immediately there was this big fan backlash. Why did you make these changes? We don't like them. You know, what's going on? And so there was this constant kind of back and forth between the viewers and the viewers. I keep saying viewers, the gamers, the players, and the development staff to figure out what they needed to do. But sadly, it looks like all of this is for naught. All of this effort, all of this adjustment, sadly, will come to absolutely no positive conclusion. Because as you guys can see, this morning, Multiversus made a very grim announcement. Okay? Here it is. It's been an incredible ride, MVPs. Thank you for all the support. For more details, visit our blog and FAQ. But here it is in a nutshell. Season 5 will serve as the final update for Multiversus, beginning on February 4th, 2025, and ending on May 30th, 2025. After Season 5 ends, players will be able to enjoy the game offline for the foreseeable future. Wait, what? So what they're announcing is they are ending development 100%, and after May 30th, you can't even play a competitive online game online anymore. They're actually cutting the servers, and you can only play it offline with your friends locally from now on. Holy shit. That's terrible. So this tells me a few things. This is my first take, because actually there's a very good post down here that I want to read through with you guys. But my first take is, I hate to say it, the free-to-pay model doesn't work. All right? It doesn't. Like, imagine if Smash Brothers was free-to-play, and then they tried to nickel and dime you by having different colors and outfits, or, oh, only 4 characters in Smash Brothers are unlocked, but as you play more, you can unlock more. Unless you spend money, then you can accelerate the unlock process to get characters in Smash Brothers. Who would like that? The answer is no one, okay? This whole free-to-play games-as-a-service model doesn't work. And it's happening again and again where you see companies that are trying the model. They want to try to be like Grand Theft Auto Online. They want to try to be like Fortnite or like an Apex Legends. But the model doesn't work for every game. They've now tried it with a fighting game. It failed miserably. People were not consistently spending on the game, and therefore the game didn't really turn the profits they needed to make it be able to be successful. So that's sad. But I feel like if this game actually had been a full-fledged buy-it-first game like Smash Brothers, it probably would have worked. Okay? Now, let's take a look, because this post actually is quite good. All right? I want you to take a look at this particular post here. This person, I think, really knows their stuff. So listen, here are the mistakes made by PFG for the next entrepreneurs who want to create a successful game. If you don't know, PFG is the name of the developer. That's the abbreviation. I forget exactly what it stands for. Players for gamers or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it stands for. But, so, huge hype at launch, but barely any updates to the players left. It's true. What they were doing is they were tweaking the game. Oh, I'll tweak this move, I'll tweak that. And every once in a while, they would add a character. But they weren't really adding new modes. They literally never added offline content. So it became 100% pure play online, and that's only going to be supported through a certain amount of time, right? First beta was abandoned. Then a full year of silence and many fails in terms of communication. Keku hockey ads. I have no idea what that means. But yeah, you go into open beta, right? And then all of a sudden, you decide you're going to pull your game for a year. You better come back supercharged, right? Like, you better come back with great new features. The game feels like it's a whole new game. And what happens is they pulled the game for a year, came back, and the game legit felt worse than it did before the year. So what did you think was going to happen? If you have a beta, technically that means you're testing it to get it ready for release. Not, we're going to hide the game for a year. So it was a very bizarre choice the way that it was gone about. Relaunch was worse than the beta. Game felt downgraded despite Unreal Engine upgrade claims. I completely agree. When I played it, it felt like it was a different game and it wasn't as good. It was too slow and half the characters sucked. Major bugs, hitbox issues, and balancing problems. Yeah, what ended up happening was it was like every single week someone found something broken in the game and would report it because people would just abuse it online. It would be unbeatable. So then they'd patch it, fix it, and then something else would be found. And then something else would be found. So there you go. Focused on only the US, ignored European Union and Asia, no global ambassadors is no hype. Now that I can't attest to, but I agree. A game like this is going to have a worldwide presence. You need to have people worldwide representing the game. And if they only focused on the United States, I think that was a big misstep. Predatory monetization, 70 plus hours to unlock a single character. This I have to agree with. Like I said, when you first play the game, you can unlock 1 to 2 characters relatively quickly. And then all of a sudden, this ginormous wall to climb to earn enough of the in-game credits to get your 3rd or 4th character. And after that, it's like impossible. You're like, do you really want to grind that many hours to get another character? No, you're either going to spend money or you're going to quit the game. And sadly, most people just quit the game. So if you're going to have a free-to-play model, great, but you have to have it be a reasonable free-to-play model. A game like Marvel Rivals, which right now is free-to-play but seeing success, has all of the characters unlocked. What you're working towards is earning cosmetics, customizables, but all the characters are playable at once. When you're actually locking the competitive play of the game behind paywalls, you're doing it wrong, okay? Broken characters at launch with infinite loops, untested mechanics, and then terrible balancing. Skins and cosmetics mismanaged. Skins were removed, downgraded the rarity, false promises. Competitive scene was dead on arrival. There were no real tournaments, no prize pools, and no proper ranking system. And Evo hype was all for nothing. Zero investment in esports, while Brawlhalla thrives by doing the opposite. Yeah, this was bizarre. I remember it was, 2-3 years ago when Multiversus was brand spanking new and everyone was playing it. They paid tons of money to have their tournament be held at Evo. And Evo had a 2v2 tournament that was ultra hype and paid out a lot of money. And then after that tournament, it was as if it never happened. They held no other tournaments and competitions. They did no other further competitive promotion. It was like, why did you do it then? Your game got monstrous exposure on the biggest stage of the world for fighting games, and then you just squandered it. Like, why did you do that? It's baffling. It's absolutely confusing. And Jasper Kitty is very confused about it as well, as you can see right here. A competitive game without a roadmap, cash prizes, or global community support is dead on arrival. Warner had $200 million, but didn't even invest in esports. A few million in cash prizes could have changed everything. Multiversus had everything to succeed and still managed to flop. Massive missed opportunity. What a waste. Yeah, and here's the thing, all right? So there's a big 3 of these kind of games. Let's be honest, okay? There's been 3 attempts to make a game like this work. One was called Smash Brothers. One was called Sony, what was it? Oh, no, PlayStation All-Stars. And then there was this one, right? Multiversus. Now, there's been a few here or there between there, correct? But let's be honest here, all right? Everyone who tries to capture that magic in a bottle that Smash Brothers has had fails. Has there been a single game that's emulated Smash Brothers and worked? Not really. Even when it seems like they're doing everything right. Like that PlayStation All-Stars game seemed to be doing everything right. It had all your characters from the classic Sony properties in a game. All the characters were unlocked at launch. You had to buy it up front, and they tried their hardest to get it into competitive communities and get it played competitively. It just didn't work. And the reason I think it didn't work is because, let's be honest, Sony properties are nowhere near as popular as Nintendo. Okay? Maybe you could argue Nathan Drake and Kratos, but outside of that, do you think anyone cared about Fat Princess? Right? As opposed to Nintendo properties, everyone knows Donkey Kong, Mario, Kirby. You know, those are popular franchises that resonate with a mainstream audience. Okay? With the case of Multiversus, I hate to say it, I do feel that the properties they have with Warner Brothers do resonate with a mainstream audience. I feel like they had, if anyone had an opportunity, okay, to be successful in this realm, it was Multiversus. And the fact that they made these bad decisions, I mean, the worst decision is free to play, but unlockable characters that you have to pay to accelerate. If you don't, you have to grind 70 hours, and then don't support a competitive community. Those were their two fatal flaws. Those two things is what killed it for me, I feel. Like if they had a big competitive community where people were playing in tournaments and hype, and you could play all the characters, I think they would have been fine. But instead, the game wasn't doing well after 8 months, so they pulled the plug for a year, brought it back worse off. So what did you think was going to happen, right? I'm sad. I thought this game had massive potential, and I liked it when I played it. It's really sad to me to see a game like that I feel can work, fail. We need more interesting concepts and original games. That game was that, and then it broke. It's like, damn, that sucks, you know? Anyway, it is what it is. If you are interested in Multiversus, now is your last chance to play it. You only have February, March, April, and May, and then after that, it's offline for good. Sure, you can play it offline with your friends at your house, but how many people are going to do that? Probably not many. So I strongly recommend you check it out while you still can. It is a good game. At least it was during the beta. And, you know, I hope that you'll enjoy it for what it was, but what a disappointment and what a sad end, right? Like really, really sad.